Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Andrew at St. Croix Cards, and this is SlabStox FC World Cup Show. And it is freezing outside in central Wisconsin, but things are heating up as we get one step closer to see who is going to win the World Cup. And it was super impressive over the last 2 days to watch these semifinal games. So we're going to talk a little bit about the semifinals. We're going to look at the results. We're going to look at some players who had some sizable impact in those games. I do want to talk a little bit about a large soccer release that's coming, so I'm going to do that towards the end. And then what do we have to look forward to on Sunday? I don't know if you're as hyped as I am, but I am super pumped, super excited, and what we have to talk about right off the bat. So we're going to jump right in today is talk about that first semifinal on Tuesday. Argentina defeating Croatia and led by the one, the only Lionel Messi. Man, Messi was absolutely spectacular in this game. I just am enjoying every time that I get to see him come out on the pitch at the World Cup. Fifth World Cup, with the win Argentina has, he's got one game left. He's already come out and said, this is it. This is all that's left. And he's going to have his shot to win a World Cup. We can't say that about Ronaldo. We can't say that about Lewandowski. Messi has put himself in a position to win the elusive World Cup for himself, for his teammates, and for Argentina. And I just cannot wait to see how this is all going to play out. But what effect has it had? Well, there has been some movement in the market on some cards. Not all cards, but I do want to highlight just a few that we can kind of talk about here. The first one, I'm going to go all the way back to 2010. This is his Panini World Cup South Africa card. This is a PSA 9. And just look at the two best offers accepted after this game. So if you're listening, there was a best offer accepted December 13th for $350. And we had a second best offer accepted on December 13th for $400. The previous two sales to this, one was December 12th at auction for $170.37. And then one also sold at auction December 7th. So backing up just a little bit more at $157.50. Now, I don't know, how the people are reacting, who's buying these cards. But for me, it's an interesting concept that now it's not, what if Messi wins the World Cup? He is one game away from winning that World Cup. And to me, that World Cup, if he can grab it, if they can win it, I don't think there's much of a conversation anymore about, where he stands. I know we've always done this Messi Ronaldo debate, and I think that might still continue long after whatever happens on Sunday happens. But for me, if you have a World Cup and you're Messi and Ronaldo does not, I think there is a, advantage Messi, World Cup accomplished, and what he's been able to do throughout this entire tournament. It just seems after that initial opening loss to Saudi Arabia, they have grown into this tournament. Argentina has looked very, very good. And I'm guessing Messi, Argentina is hoping to come out firing here on Sunday as well. A couple other cards I want to look at, not trying to be, we'll talk a little bit about the Prism that just came out, but I wanted to kind of get a vast array of other cards that you guys can look at. Now, this is 2017, 2018 Select. I do really love early Select cards, but this is his In the Clutch Wave Prism PSA 10. And I have a few sales that I just want to point out, more than just a couple. But this is that parallel, this insert, not even his card from the base set. This sold December 13th for $118. So this is after their win against Croatia. Sold for $118. And then if you back up to December 12th, so if you back up just a day, it was sold for $102.50 before the match. Go back to December 10th, it sold for $77 at auction. And these are PSA 10s. And then November 28th, so just 8 days into the World Cup, this card sold at auction for $69.69. So we've seen sizable increases in his cards just across the board. You got to talk a little bit about Topps Chrome as well. Now, this is his 2018-2019 Topps Chrome. So it's not the 2017 set that a lot of people talk about. And we know we have Mbappe rookies and those beautiful colors. This is 2018. And these are PSA 9s. And so PSA 9s, I'm going to go all the way back to November 22nd of 2020. So got to go a little bit further back, but Card Ladder Pro, love it because it gives you so much information out there. Now, this blue PSA 9 out of 150 is a pop 13. So there's not many out there. And so you do see kind of some space between sales. But that November 22nd of 2020, it sold for $76 at auction. November 23rd of 2020, it sold for $132.50. And then we had one in April, the 24th, sell for $150. And then finally, after the game against Croatia, this sold at auction for $168.50. So we do see prices continuing to climb and rise in many Messi products. This one kind of caught my eye, and so it was interesting. This is that orange Prism out of 2022 Prism World Cup. This would be, out of 25. They're both raw, but this sold November 29th for $1,000. So out of 25, the orange for $1,000. There's a sale on Card Ladder after the game against Croatia, December 13th, $4,335 raw. So you can see some prices are moving in an upward direction. It doesn't mean all of them are moving up, at a fast or upward direction, but based on what Messi is doing and what he's accomplishing in this tournament, I think it's something that we just need to be aware of. So I thought I would break down just his record-setting game against Croatia. Like, what are we seeing? What are we witnessing for Messi at the World Cup? Now, based on his goal against Croatia, he's now Argentina's top World Cup goal scorer at 11 goals in the World Cup. That puts him tied for 6th all-time in the World Cup. Now, he also becomes Argentina's top World Cup assist provider at 9. Now it puts him 2nd all-time, and I think that's just behind Pele, who has 10. He's the first player in World Cup history to record a goal and assist in 4 separate World Cup games. And that game against Croatia, he capped his 25th appearance, which is the most all time, and he will tack one more on that on Sunday. So we are seeing records fall, and Messi is the one that is kind of rewriting the record books. And I think that shows people who understand the game, who are aware of just his stature, what he's accomplished up to this point, and what a World Cup could be, kind of the cherry on top of a beautiful career for Messi. So it's really, you see a lot of movement here, in the last couple of days, volume-wise too. I tended to see a lot more cards moving on Card Ladder, a lot more to list to kind of roll through after that game against Croatia, because I think people recognize and understand not only the significance of what he's doing, but what it could mean if he's able to get that win on Sunday. But he's not doing it by himself, right? He's got some help, and he's got some young talent around him, and Julian Alvarez is one of those guys. Just a great game with the brace that he comes. He gets 2 goals in a semifinal game. And the first thought that I had was, wow, he would be amazing if he could play regularly at Man City. But he's backing up Erling Haaland, who is in front of him, and I don't think he's jumping over Haaland to get some regular game time. But Pep's been known to kind of make it work, if you will. But you can kind of see that his pricing has taken a positive move forward as well, the deeper they go into it. A 22-year-old striker for Man City in the Premier League who's playing well for Argentina, it makes logical sense. So here is a couple sales that we can see. This is his 2022 Panini Prism World Cup. This is Blue Wave out of 199. Again, remember, Alvarez does not have a ton of cards out there. He's really in those World Cup sets that were released right around the World Cup. So Prism is one. I believe he's in Mosaic, an NT. But you can see that his Blue Wave out of 199 sold for $250 December 13th. There was a second sale on December 13th as well at a fixed price of $259.95. Just give you a concept, this card sold, the same card sold December 7th, so not too far away, just a little less than a week ago for $120. So as the players perform, what we're seeing is that now in these stages of the tournament, at least I am, that you're seeing some prices move and move pretty substantially. So that is card number 1. And the other one, just be cautious and be aware. This is his 2022, again, his Panini Prism World Cup. This is the manga. This is the case hit. And right when they came out, there were a lot of people talking and comparing it. And I'm not an American football guy. I'm not an NFL guy. But a lot of people were like, "Oh man, these mangas are so hard to hit. They're crazy. Like, one in every, how many cases?" And when people got them, they were excited, and you saw prices pretty high. So at the start of the tournament, first day of the World Cup, November 20th, Julian Alvarez's manga case hit sold for $700. What I think people started to realize and figure out was they maybe weren't as rare as the football ones. And there were more and more hitting the market, and the price was affected by that. But after the game, the December 13th against Croatia, the 2 goals, this manga and these are raw sales sold for $371. And that again, is just understanding, with new release products, one of the things that a lot of people say, and I tend to agree is, unless you're chasing something specific, if you're looking for extremely low numbered of certain players, or you have a thought that you're going to put, a rainbow together, or there's certain cards that you want to grab because they're so rare that they're not going to probably pop up again, or it's going to be difficult to find them after the initial opening. Great. But most of the time after a product releases, you do tend to see prices stay pretty high and then kind of tail off after that price is released. And most of you know that. And if you don't, maybe that's a good lesson to kind of just say, watch the market. Like if you're looking for a card out of $199 or $299, you instead of paying that premium price right when it comes out, the product comes out, if you wait a little while, prices may depreciate and may go down, and then you can kind of pick those up for a little bit of a better price for you, or a price that fits the budget a little bit better. That's how I look at it as somebody who is definitely on a budget. To be like, okay, how can I make this most affordable to me, or how can my dollars go a little bit further in the hobby? So just got to be aware. I'm not going to sit there and say every card is moving in an upward direction. But he does have a Topps Now, and I looked at one of the parallels that he has out of 99. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you, because there were quite a few that sold one after the other after his game on the 13th. Again, doesn't have too many cards. I don't tend to highlight Topps Now, but this is a parallel. This is the purple out of 99. But there were 3 sales of his Topps Now Champions League on December 13th. One sold for $89.99 fixed price. One sold for $79.99 fixed price, and one sold for $129.99 fixed price. Now, those are all raw, and you can see that, but going back a little bit into November, so right after the World Cup, a raw of this card sold for $89.99, so kind of fits in that same window. But if you back up even before the World Cup, November 9th, a raw sold for $60. And really the one that was the interesting one was before the World Cup, because I don't know if people tended to think that he was going to be front and center, that he was going to start. I mean, Lautaro Martinez for Inter Milan was there and was playing well in Serie A. And so I think a lot of people thought he was going to be it. And Alvarez has really kind of come onto the scene and worked really well with Messi. And I think that, he's earned his spot. But you can see that prices have kind of climbed a little bit just because of his great production at the World Cup, and especially in that semifinal game. Now, the one that maybe many of you don't or wouldn't, doesn't have the goals, didn't score, but just for me was just hawking around the ball, is constantly moving. Alexis McAllister, who plays for Brighton in the Premier League, 23-year-old. Just really been impressed with his playmaking abilities, his ability to play defense, to press. I like watching him play. And so while I was watching him, against Croatia, I thought, what? I wonder what his cards are doing. Being in the Premier League and on Brighton, I knew that there had to be cards out there. But I was really shocked to see, just how affordable even some parallel numbered of his rookie cards from 2020, 2021 Panini Prism were. And this is his blue. This is a color match, out of 199. And he had a card sell in February of this year. So February of 2022, pretty early on. I sold for $1.99 at auction. And now if you fast forward to October 1st, just over, a little over a month and a half out of the World Cup, it sold for 64 cents at auction. And it struck me because after the game against Croatia, a fixed price, a buy it now of $15 was hit. And so we need to kind of look about those outlier players, like the players that, aren't going to score all the goals, are not named Messi, are not named Ronaldo, are not named, Kylian Mbappe. These fringe players, they catch people's attention, and people want to purchase cards, and so they're going to look to find it, and you definitely see a large increase in their pricing, and so those fringe players are important, and then it gets me to thinking, okay, like what happens if who could make that goal? Who could score that goal? If it's not Messi, if it's not Alvarez, who could score that goal that really, solidifies Argentina to win the World Cup? And what does that, where does that go? And what does that look like for a hobby perspective? So it's always, my wheels are always turning. I'm always kind of looking at things in that way. But I'd love to know, players that you've been impressed with. Maybe McAllister is not one, and you're, like, yeah, he looks good and he moves a lot, but he's putting in a shift for Argentina, but that's about it. But what are the players that maybe aren't the top names that you've been impressed with? Love to know. Just kind of leave a comment below, and I would love to hear who you think has really made a name for himself. But we also have to talk about the second semifinal game, right? France coming out against Morocco, getting that really, really early goal, and then riding that, getting the second, and winning 2-0, and putting themselves in the final for the second World Cup in a row. France has the opportunity to win back-to-back World Cups. This has not happened since Brazil did it in 1958 and 1962. So we've gone almost 60. Is that 60 years or 70 years? 60 years. If I'm not I'm a history teacher by trade, not a math teacher. So 60 years it's been since somebody has gone back-to-back in the World Cup, and France has that opportunity. And about a month ago, we were sitting here talking about the devastation of injuries. The Contes, the Pogbas, the Lucas Hernandez, during the tournament, the Karim Benzema of the world that's not there, all these missing pieces, and they have come together as a unit. They've come together as a team. They've had a great tournament, and they are sitting in the final doing something that hasn't been done for 60 years. And Theo Hernandez is kind of the person I want to highlight here. He got that first goal and really was not expected to be in the starting lineup. His brother, Lucas, from Bayern Munich, was supposed to be that and injured himself in that very first game. Kind of thrust Theo Hernandez into the lineup, 25 years old, plays for AC Milan in Italy. And you just kind of see a little bump in pricing, nothing crazy, but this is his Panini Prism 2022 World Cup silver signature. So this is out of 25, and one sold on December 12th for $31. Post the game and after the goal, get a sale about $45. So nothing crazy, but I think, it's important to note just, him and his role that he plays. Again, kind of that next man up mentality. And if it's really any other country, I don't think they're deep enough to be able to push themselves into a semifinal or a final. But France has so much depth, has so much talent. They're so blessed with so many players that they're able to just kind of make it work and kind of put that next man up mentality. And it's worked pretty well. It almost kind of has cohesively brought that unit together. I think, with all the injuries, with all the, the speculation of they're not going to be able to do it, it almost as a unit has kind of pulled them together. In my own personal opinion, that's in my opinion, that's kind of what I'm seeing from the outside looking in. So Theo Hernandez, great game today, but we do have to talk about Kylian Mbappe. He is the man that we need to speak of, because he has an opportunity to win a second World Cup before turning 24. And I don't think too many people, I think we say that, but we don't give it enough credit. And oh yeah, he won that World Cup in 2018, at 19. Yeah, that's very impressive. But to do it a second time is pretty incredible as we look at Messi, who is chasing his first at 35 years old. And a lot of things has to go your way in order to win a World Cup. Now, we've seen, great teams not win World Cups. One bad game or one bad bounce or one bad handball can send you home. And here again, we have Kylian Mbappe on the doorstep of a second World Cup. So I pulled out some 2018 stuff. This is his Donruss. This is his gold out of 75. This is a press proof. These are both raw sales. August 16th, this raw card of Mbappe sold for $139. Fast forward to after the game against Morocco, December 14th. This sells today for $280. So $280, you see a sizable jump, almost doubling in price here since August. Also, his 2018 Donruss Optic. This is the Black Velocity out of 25. This is a PSA 10, and I put this up there because I think it's important that we see and understand that not every card just has a consistent movement upward, even for players like Kylian Mbappe. This PSA 10 sold for today for $3,053. Now, if you back up to December 4th, this card was $2,640. And then if you back up even further into September, before the World Cup even hits, this was a $3,225 card. And then back in August, it was a $2,400 card. So it's kind of yo-yoed up and down. You see auctions, you see best offers. And for me, it just kind of says, kind of the wave of, not every card has a consistent rise in price. So the price right now at $3,053 still isn't as much as that September 12th sale, but the market's very different now than it was in September. But I also don't want you to get this idea that I'm sitting there saying every single card is moving up and every single card. Yeah, there is some movement on the players that are playing well, but not even every card of theirs is going up. And now the other one is the 2018 World Cup Prism. This is the black gold wave for Kylian Mbappe, the PSA 9. It sold today for $700. It sold November 8th for $699. And it sold all the way back in February for $887.77. So really the two that I wanted to compare is the November 8th, 12 days before the start of the World Cup, and even December 14th here now. You're looking at a dollar difference. You're looking at a dollar difference and down over almost $200 from where it was in February. Again, very different time, very different market in February of 2022. But here, over the past month, this one has really a dollar difference. We're not seeing a ton of change, even with all the goals, even with the Golden Boot as a possibility, even with right now on the doorstep of a second World Cup. So just be careful, do your research, maybe looking at, cards that you, again, like, don't be running out and buying, if you don't like the card. That's my own kind of personal take. Like, buy what you enjoy, buy what, if prices did go down, what would we be happy holding on to? That's big for me as I look at, my cards in my collection. There are cards that I, have for a very, very long time that, I bought at the start. I just posted today on a Kylian Mbappe 2017 BGS 9.5 True Gem. And that was the first Kylian Mbappe card that I bought. So it has a little bit more sentimental value. It doesn't matter that it was, 500 or 400 or 300. I just like the card. It means something to me. And so I still have it, and I wouldn't, if it went down to 100 or 50, would I be bummed? Yes. Would it make or break that card for me? No. So, making sure that you're buying cards or looking to purchase cards that you enjoy having, I think is part of the fun as well. But here it is, right? It is get your popcorn ready. It is, this is big stuff. When you could sit there and say, what did we want to see? And I was one of those guys that, it would be cool if Messi and Ronaldo squared off in a World Cup final. And I really did. I thought, both teams were good enough to get there. And when Portugal bowed out and when they lost to Morocco, you kind of looked at the Final Four and said, what do you want to see? And I think a lot of people want to see this. Messi having an opportunity to win a World Cup. You have Kylian Mbappe, who has an opportunity to win his second, which is just incredible to me at such a young age. But not even to mention the layers of their teammates. They play together. They're at PSG. Like, they know each other. They know each other's games, and now they lead their countries to what every country is hoping for, right? To win the World Cup. We do this once every 4 years. There's so much buildup. There's so much talk. There's so much analysis. And here on Sunday, we get to hash it all out. You got one game, winner take all. and take home the World Cup trophy. And so for me right now, I'm looking at this from a perspective of a fan, as a person who, I've got a few Mbappe cards. I've got a few Messi cards. I'm not heavily invested in either player where I'm like, you got to win so prices go up. I'm a fan first. I love soccer. I love the soccer community. I love the game and cards. I love cards too, but I'm looking at this from just, we are witnessing something that is pretty special. And to be able to chat about it, to be able to watch it and watch it in community, I think is such a fun thing. And that's what I love about the hobby. And that's what I love about cards, is it brings people with similar passions together. And that's why, I just can't wait for this game. I can't wait to talk about the outcome of this game. I can't wait to see what it does to cards. I'll be scrolling through, all of the Twitter feeds, the Instagram feeds. I'll be scrolling through, Card Ladder. I'll be doing all of that after the game. But during the game, I'm locked in to the game, and I'm locked into communicating with my friends throughout. So I hope you do too. I hope you have a place where you can watch it. I hope you have people that you can enjoy it with, because that's been the difference for me this time. World Cups previous, I'm kind of that, I didn't have a whole lot of friends that enjoyed soccer and the World Cup as much as I did. And to be able to share it with all of you is just a phenomenal experience. I do want to talk about a product release as we kind of wrap up here today and finish up. There is a very high-end product that is coming out, and that is 2022 Eminence. And there's been some pictures, there's been some things that have come out, but the checklist is officially out. The checklist is out. I would encourage you to take a look at it, if you have some time, and to kind of breeze through those and see some of the autos that are available, players that you'll be able to find in this product, and to start to kind of educate yourself on the product as a whole. I enjoy looking at the possibility of what cards can be pulled out of Eminence. And just to know, what is there and what is available. But just wanted to make you aware of that and make sure that you had an idea that was coming. So I know people were waiting for the checklist. It's out. Take a look. Tell me what you think. I would love to know. But here it goes. Here we go, right? This is it. Everything we've talked about, everything we've discussed, everything has led up to the moment that is Sunday. Sunday, December 18th, 2 days before Mbappe's birthday, before he turns 24, he has the chance to win a second World Cup. Or we watch Messi reach the mountain, climb the mountain, reach the peak, win the World Cup. Either of those things happen, it's a great conversation piece. We'll be talking about it for a long time, but we can't forget also Saturday at 9 a.m. on the 17th, we do have a third place game to clue in on and to watch. Morocco taking on Croatia, and still just an amazing feat. Shout out to Morocco. I know they lost in the semifinal today, but first African nation to make it to a semifinals. Pretty incredible, great run that they've had. And they looked attacking. They looked a menace today as they had a couple shots that could have and should have maybe gone in. Would have changed the outcome there as well. But really great tournament for Morocco. The only 2 goals that they've given up in the tournament came today. But it's been fun, right? It's been fun, and I'm so ready to see how this all plays out. But Argentina, France, do me a huge and massive favor. Drop your predictions below. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Is Messi going to get it, or is Mbappe going to put a stamp on number 2? And I just, it's just my head's swimming. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up. I got done with the game today, and I was like, man, I wish Sunday was tomorrow. I don't know if I can wait Thursday, Friday, Saturday to get there, but we're going to do it. We waited, multiple years to get to the World Cup. We can wait a few more days as we wait for the World Cup to finish off here today. But I want to thank you all. Thanks for joining in on our semifinal episode. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of card talk, a lot of Messi and Mbappe talk, and I don't think that's going to stop over the next few days, because they are going to be at the center of the conversation. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my name's Andrew at St. Croix Cards. We will see you next time as we hash out the final and look at who is the World Cup winner. But do me a favor, Make sure you guys make it a great day, and we'll see you next time as we talk about the final. Have a good one, guys.